What's going on, everyone? Alliance Work here, and welcome back to another video. And in this video is going to be the start of us showcasing everything you guys need to know for the for the season 2 mythic plus keystone runs. The full list of the dungeons are out, and Priory of the Sacred Flame is going to be the first one we cover. So these type of videos are essentially just showcasing everything you need to know in order to be as ready as you can be for when these dungeons drop. So I'm just going to drop all sorts of tips and tricks just to make your guys' life easier, because someone's got to do it, right? And this dungeon I actually happen to know pretty darn well. So yes, we are doing a follower dungeon, and the first thing I want to point out is the Arathi footmen who are using defend. Essentially that gives the ads exactly what you think it gives them, a damage reduction. It says right here, reducing damage by 50%. So one thing I would like to point out is that Sacred Flame right there is interactable for Holy Andisk and Paladins. So you can interact with that to get a buff. I'm not sure what the buff is. I haven't ever ran this on a Paladin, is what I mean to say. But the first guy I want to talk about is Guard Captain Suleiman. So throughout this dungeon, you're going to have basically 3 mini bosses, so to say. It kind of works a lot like I think it's Court of Stars in Suramar, where you have to pull the ads away from the boss. Also, I have no idea what the good captain is doing, but you know, maybe she's here to give some pointers too. But also for the defend, you can hard stun it to remove the cast. Also, I apologize for any little lag that might happen. My internet is really mid. Just like the captain's ability to tank a proper dungeon. So I will be doing the pulling for her. Damn right I'm taking point. So the reason why you need to kill these mini bosses is because the more lieutenants that are with Captain Dalacree, the more it's going to be a bad time. Also, that right there is something you need to be aware of with the guard captain. He will do a knockback on the tank, and that knockback will do it'll basically knock you back a pretty hefty way, and if you're not paying attention, that knockback will cause you to pull more ads. And then whenever the captain is defeated, it will cause another ad to run to you. Now, this ad can essentially meet you halfway if you do it right. So if you pull the boss and then you kill him, the ad will essentially try to run towards you, which is this lady right here, Sergeant Chainmail. But if, like, let's say we started going right instead of left, then Chainmail would have essentially not engaged us. But if you do it right, she will basically meet you halfway, meaning you can grab her on the stairs. But honestly, I feel like this is my personal opinion for optimality, if that's the right word. We are going to want to, and I'm going to really make Captain Garrick work here a bit, because I've noticed Garrick does not know how to tank. But we're going to take this end and we're going to be pulling the High Priest Enya. The reason why I'm choosing this way over Forge Master Damien is because I feel like the High Priest has more adds on this side, so it'll do better for clear percentage. I could be wrong. This dungeon has never seen a keystone before, so, you know, if you guys have any input to add once the keystones are live, feel free to just like pop in and be like, hey, this is the best way to do this. But yeah, you come down here and you got a 3x4 spread of ads with 2 different packs as well. So now I feel like, you know, under certain keystone affixes, this pack is horrible, in which case you can always go Forge Master Damien. But I also feel like dealing with just Tainer Dual Maul outside of the boss fight is a lot better, because he just has a lot of AoE he does in the fight. But that's just my opinion, you know. Like I said, you guys can easily voice your concerns if you want to. Wait. Oh, there she is. I'm like, wait, did the priest die already? I thought the priest was dead already. Go ahead and interrupt that real quick. But killing her will bring Tainer over here. Now, something very important about Tainer. I think it's every 3rd or 4th cast, he will do his big fiery ability. Like, Fireball's not that bad. Fireball's not that bad. It's that one. Whatever that one was, it got, like, immediately interrupted. It's Cinder Blast. Cinder Blast and Ember Storm are just why I don't really care for him. As for Elena, the only thing you really have to worry about is Repentance. If you can interrupt Repentance on Elena, she's not that bad, in my opinion. But yeah, she really doesn't do much else. And let's face it, I don't think anyone has ever had Sergeant Chainmail present in the fight. Because, let's face it, why are you gonna leave Chainmail alive, you know? So at this point, when you pull Captain Dalacree, you want to immediately kill whoever it is you decide to have left up in the fight. Which for us is Elena. And as you saw, we did interrupt Repentance. What that does is it basically stuns you. And now that she is gone, we just focus the boss. Savage Mauling is basically like a stun fixate. You just have to damage the boss till his shield goes down, and then you're good. But like I said, it's personal preference, because I know certain affixes will favor going the Forge Master route versus others. Because, like, I think it's like a bolstering or whatever that will, like, basically make the High Priest trash look like an absolute nightmare. So, after you get past Dalacree, you have Baroness Braunpike. You might recognize him from the Lore Master questline if you've done it. He is the one whose brother got killed. So, little lore spoilers. His brother basically got killed, and Prioress Merprey basically fed on that to turn him. But this is like just a small room with a lot of trash. So like I said, depending on how clear percentages work, it might be better to take down Elena and leave Tainer alive. It's really, like I said, it's really a matter of affixes versus, you know, how this dungeon actually pans out with clear percentages on keystones. But basically, once you kill these two packs, the packs on the stairs will come down as well. So essentially, you have 5 pulls in this room before you get to Baron Braunpike. And the ads basically drop a lot of consecrations, and don't tell me the captain's dying. Also, you're witnessing my blank ass internet just being bad. So, like I said, I apologize for that. Yeah, unfortunately, this dungeon, I don't even think is available on Heroic yet. Oh, see, I got Bladestorm up. Let's go. Bladestorm. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say the ads you want to focus the most are definitely the Devout Priest, because they are the healers. Aside from that, I'd say you probably want to focus the Paladins after, as they're the ones dropping consecration everywhere. And just making everyone's life miserable. But while they're finishing up the trash, let's talk Baron Braunpike. So Baron Braunpike has an ability called Burning Light. Wait, is that the right one? Yeah, Burning Light needs to be interrupted, as this ability will heal the boss for a amount of his health. And on Mythic, it looks like he has a Burning Pyre ability. Makes me wonder. Okay, so yeah. Bound by Fate, basically. I don't think Valkyrie will be too much of an issue, honestly. Like, that Bound by Fate thing, I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue. So, moving on to Priorus Merprey. We are going to... There's really not a lot to say about the bosses. Like, they are what they are. Basically, if you've done the mechanics on Heroic or regular Mythic, you're going to know what to expect. But for the most part, it's really just more or less the same. Like I said, it's just really hard to gauge this dungeon, because I know a lot of people, including myself, have not done it yet on Mythic. Versus some of the other dungeons we'll be covering, it'll be a lot easier. Also, Jesus Christ, my internet is actually crying right now. Alright, so this trash pack, we gotta talk about a few things here real quick. So this, first off, I just want to say, the spoiler alert, Baron Braunpike's brother is literally right there being resurrected. Little lore moment for you. But this room has a lot of trash in it. And, you know, for the most part, it is what it is. You know, like I said, it's hard to judge this on Keystone level, just because this has not been a Keystone dungeon. But I feel like on certain weeks, this room will be an absolute nightmare. But Braunpike just kind of fills the role of like a one of the mini bosses before Dalekree, you know? I feel like that's kind of his role. But one thing very important is the pack right here and the pack right here, you cannot skip. The reason why is if you skip those, I mean, if the key is low enough, or if your DPS is good enough, and you want to just cleave the ads down, sure, go ahead. Go ahead and, you know, just skip that pack. But if you do skip either of those mobs, they will become present in the final boss fight. Like, that pack cannot be skipped. Also, Sir Braunpike does have his own little ticking aura he does. Completely unavoidable. I wonder if we can skip the trash pack to just showcase it. I mean, the dungeon here is very linear, so it's really hard to... It's really hard to like show any special tips or tricks. This dungeon is very, very, very linear. Well, looks like we don't get to showcase the ads getting auto-pulled by the boss. Again, devout priests, you'll want to focus those first. Anytime there's a healer, you always want to prioritize them. I know this might not be, you know, the best hot take on this, but I'm doing my best with what I got available to me, you know? I'm trying here. And then you get to Prioress Merprey, and then she's basically nothing too exciting. You know what? What the hell ever, you stupid paladin. So you just want to interrupt Holy Smite whenever you can. As I am like completely away from the boss because I'm bad at this. At a certain point, she's going to jump up, get a barrier of light. You have to break that, and basically at this point, ads are going to be spawning nonstop throughout the rest of the fight. And these ads have a overwhelming power buff that basically gives them a damage increase. So you really don't want to ignore these ads. They don't have a lot of health, and you can just AoE them down. Leaving them up will lead to a very fast wipe. Once you've removed a shield, you can interrupt Embrace the Light. And then the only thing you really have to worry about at this point, besides the ads, is basically a holy beam that is going to chase you. And I think Purify is the ability. Which is that right there. And yeah, that is basically what you need to know to prepare for this dungeon on Mythic. I wish it could have been more exciting and I could have been like, hey, this, hey, that. But this dungeon is still fairly new. And like I said, strats will be developing as it comes around. And the dungeon's also very linear as well, outside of the first boss room. But if you guys did enjoy this video, do consider subscribing. It helps out a lot, and I will see you guys for the next video.